So how did you decide to get your own business? You're doing your firm now with this. So talk us about what is your firm today and how'd you get started with that?
Yeah, that's an interesting story. So I used to be a one-man show, right? So after I left the real estate guys, I started my own firm, kept the real estate guys as kind of my VIP clients. But for the first couple of years, man, you basically take on whatever puts food on the table, right? You're grinding really hard 7 days a week, or you're just doing it all, right? And I have actually an interesting thing happen to me is like I actually had a big medical scare about 6 years ago. Had a 30% chance of dying. I actually got septic. I had a surgery that completely botched. And so that, I was literally out for about 6 months. And so revenues, when you're a single firm, solopreneur, you're a single point failure. When you don't work, there's no revenues. And so, our revenues went down to literally zero at the end of 2018. And, luckily I had a little bit of reserve. So it's a good lesson for everyone to have, there's a reason why they say you have, 6 months of reserves. And this is where it came in. So I was very, very fortunate that we didn't have really a huge financial hit, but obviously from a health perspective, I lost probably half the weight I am right now. And, but I just, when I came out of that, I said, look, I can't make that happen again. If I ever get hit by a bus or this happens again, I can't have this situation again, put my family in that position, 2 little kids. And so I made a decision then that's like, hey, look, I've got to go build a real business. I can't be a single point failure. I can't be a solopreneur. And so I set my sights up to actually build something that would be self-sustaining. That if anything ever happened again in the future, it's like this, even if I got hit by a bus or whatever, that there'd be somebody to keep the business running and I would just have to handle my health stuff. And, it took me 6 years, but, fortunate enough for me, I found an amazing partner that she became a partner about 3 or 4 years ago. And we've built a firm now where it's to that point where it doesn't need me to run. Hopefully they still want me, but if something were to happen like that again,
absolutely,
people have it covered. And so now we're about 9 or 10 people, still a pretty boutique firm, but it's a multi 7-figure business, and we really specialize helping real estate syndicators. That is our bread and butter. We'll do a little bit of entity formations and stuff like that, but really our core business is the compliance side.
Yeah, because you're passionate about that, right? This is the experience, and like we talked earlier, the passion about building that for syndicators that is growing their business and stuff. I think it's just fantastic, man.
Yeah, and I really have a passion for sort of teaching, as probably you can tell, because I do a lot of content. I'll do a lot of free Q&A. I do a lot of I like to give a lot. I come from the Gary Vaynerchuk school of thought. So I'm just give.
Really? There you
I love
That's
it.
awesome,
I had a pleasure of meeting Gary right before COVID. I went to his offices in 2000 and right before COVID, it's 2020. And so I love that, and it's worked. And so when you build a brand and you give and you're selfless and you're just trying to help people, and this goes for any business, not just legal, but as you add value to the community, whether it's social media or like you're doing here with podcasts and just educating folks, it just comes back to you in spades. And it's not why I do it. It's not like I'm doing it because of that, but it's just a byproduct of just giving to people without any expectation of them doing anything. If they want to hire us, great. If they don't, that's great too. But I just get a lot of satisfaction. When I'm done with those 1 hour sort of Q&A sessions, I just feel like I'm on cloud. I think I get more out of it than the people in there.
Absolutely. No, they say when you teach, you learn twice. You know what I'm saying? And that's good that you say that. You invest in yourself as well and on your own education, not just business, but I see Tony Robbins there.
I'm a huge personal development guy. And so
that is great, man. This is actually, I really admire people that work on self-development because you just become a better person. And by having your cup full, you'll be able to help others, man, through your life. That's a huge belief of mine.
I believe my philosophy is that, whatever it is that you want in life, you just need to figure out what it is that you want. And then you got to ask yourself the big question, which is, who do I need to become in order to get or achieve whatever it is that I want to go achieve? Because you need to increase your skill, or what books do you need to read, or what podcasts do I need to listen to, what skills do I need to develop, and having a clear outcome of where you want to go, and then figuring out what it is that you have to do to improve on yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're only going to be as successful as your level of personal development.
100%.